content. My only request is that if I'm willing to give you all of my attention, will you give me all of your attention in exchange? Which means please close out the phone,
Yeah, I'm just
turn
gonna
off
go
the
make these
phone,
beans.
close out Facebook, close out your email, close
this
all
one he's
the
gonna
other
start talking
tabs that might be open on your browser and give all of your attention and energy to what it is that we're going to be going over right now. Okay? And if you're willing to make that deal with me, type deal in the chat. Say deal in the chat.
You know how to do it.
All right? Now,
No.
kind of goes without saying that things are quite different for me today. And
Maybe
this
just
isn't
write
necessarily
something
the
in the
best set of pictures. I just randomly took a bunch of pictures from trips that my girl and I have
Erase
been
what
on.
I've got on
In the
there.
last 3 years, we've taken about 28 vacations that I can remember.
Oh, you wrote that?
And
Yeah,
the cool thing about us taking a vacation is we don't request any time off. Money continues to flow into the bank account the entire time we're on vacation because the internet's still working, technology is still working, all of the tools and tech are still generating an income for
Oh,
us
did it go?
while
What'd you do?
we
Send?
take these
Oh, you
awesome
enter?
vacations.
pressed
We're going to
enter.
learn more about
Oh my
that as we go
God.
through this tonight.
I don't see
I've
my
also
name.
had the honor and sincere privilege of being invited to speak to rooms of as much as 1,800 people at a time.
Just say
There's a
that's
lot.
not
There's a
real.
lot
But
of
my
people.
financial life has changed quite a bit. I mean, here's a snapshot from the back office of one of my income streams. And on the right, you can see that's from January to December of 2016. Just below that, in blue, you can see it's over $700,000 in total revenue made during that time. Up in the top right, you can see 1.1 million from that income stream overall. Here's another one. This is a simple campaign that we ran in the health and wellness niche. This is over 400 commission checks that came in the mail in a short 45-day period, and that totaled out to over $140,000 in
And
revenue.
it was over 100,000.
Now, because I show you that, I also have to let you know that my results are not typical. I made a decision sitting in that hallway that night, going shopping for my girlfriend's birthday gift in a cardboard box, that I was not going to be typical anymore. Okay? So, I'm not going to insult your intelligence. We've already kind of briefly talked about this, so I won't beat a dead horse, but I'm not going to insult your intelligence. I'm pretty sure that you're intelligent enough to know that just because I'm getting a certain result doesn't mean that you're going to get it, because your results are going to depend on your ability to implement what it is that we're teaching tonight. Okay? Now, with that said, just take a moment here. Do this quick little exercise for me, with me. Imagine what your life is going to look like when you have 30 hours of your life back every week. What is it going to look like when you're making as much or more money than you're making now?
We'll just be on
when you're
service
doing
more.
it, working just 10 to 15 hours a week. What if money is no obstacle for you? What would you do? Would you take the kids out of school and homeschool them? Would you take a vacation that you've been wanting to take for a long time but been kind of pushing off until the quote-unquote right time? Who would you spend your free time with? In the middle of the day on a weekday, who would you go to lunch with? Who would you want to be with you? By your side. Think about these things, because this is absolutely what's possible for you when you take action on what we're going to be going over tonight. So here's the 3 secrets that we're going to be discussing. Okay? Secret number 1, how to earn an income from anywhere in the world that you desire. Literally, the ability to earn money while you sleep. So how to create an income from anywhere in the world as long as you have a laptop and internet connection, and how to have that income consistently flowing to you, whether you're eating, sleeping, on vacation, even while you sleep. Cool stuff. Secret number 2, how to earn more in just 10 to 15 hours per week than most people make working 40 to 60 hours a week. And I know that sounds crazy to some people. However, it's absolutely true. I'm going to show you proof of that as we go through this. I'll give you a hint. It has a lot to do with leverage. Secret number 3, I'm going to show you how to grow your income 800% with a few simple tweaks that literally anyone can learn to do. And you just wait till you see how easy this really is. All right? Secret number 4, the bonus secret, really, how to scientifically engineer and literally predict whatever income it is that you desire using a simple math formula that a 5th grader can solve. Okay? It doesn't matter if you want to make 2,000 a month, 20,000 a month, or more. This math formula will solve it for you, and we use it, and I'm going to show you how to use it here as we go through tonight's content. So, last slide before we get into it. One of my favorite quotes of all time. In a world of change, the learners shall inherit the earth, while the learned shall find themselves perfectly suited for a world that no longer exists. It's by Eric Hoffer. I want you to think about this for a moment because it's very relevant to what we're talking about tonight. Do you realize that right now there are scientists who are able to print human organs using a 3D printer right now? Literally, most people don't even know that these experiments exist, right? But they're taking stem cells and printing human organs with them. In other words, not too long from now, organ transplants are going to be a thing of the past. Right now, we have cars that drive themselves. Cars that drive themselves. The only reason they're not on the road everywhere is because the federal government doesn't know what laws that they need to abide by, right? Uber has them, Tesla has them, Google has them. That means that not too long down the road, it's not a far-fetched idea that somewhere down the road, all of the trucking industry is going to be revolutionized by the fact that there are trucks that drive themselves across the country and can navigate. It's not too hard to. Uber right now has self-driving cars, and they are testing them in certain cities where they're allowing it. In other words, how is that going to impact the taxi industry? Okay? There are some very significant things taking place in the world that you need to start thinking about if you haven't thought about them, because this world is about to change in some very dramatic ways. I was just reading an article from Peter Diamandis, who's one of the brilliant minds that was originally behind Google. He did a study of human evolution between the year 1800 and 2000, and then wrote about it. And in 2015, he said, I believe that in between 2015 and 2030, 15 years, in that 15-year period, we're going to see the next 200 years of human evolution because technology is rapidly advancing. Things are changing. And my question to you is very simple. Are you going to ride that wave, or are you going to be swallowed up in it? Because there's a ton of people who are going to be swallowed up in that. They're going about their day thinking that cushy job's going to be there forever, and one day, it's not. And if the 2008 financial collapse didn't wake them up to that, then this surely will. And then my next question is simply, would you agree that the internet is here to stay? So ultimately, that's what we're talking about tonight. The reason that might sound like a dumb question, but when my grandfather was loaning my mom the money to buy us our first computer back when I was in high school, I remember him coming over to the house and saying,
I was thinking that the other day, I'm like, is the internet here to stay?
Internet thing, I bet it's just some fad that's going to wear out. That is, hey, Grandpa, it's still here, right? So if you agree the internet is here to stay, type 1 in the chat right now. All right, just type 1 in the chat. Now, let's go ahead and get started on tonight's content, okay? Essentially, there's just 3 things that we need in order to get started, all right? Number 1, we need an audience. Basically, we need a group of people that have a particular problem that they want solved, or they have a desire that they want fulfilled. Secondly, we need an offer. We need something that either solves that problem or fulfills that desire that we can promote to that audience that we identify. And third, there's copy. Copy is all of the written and spoken word that is utilized to convert that audience into an actual paying customer of that offer. All right? Now, for all purposes, all intents and purposes, we're just not going to have the time to talk about copy tonight, but we are going to talk a lot about audiences and offers, and you're going to have a pretty solid understanding of it here as we go through the next several slides. All right? So moving on. How do we do it?
What did I miss?
Well, first, like I said, we identify an audience. So let's say that kind of egg-like looking symbol on your screen, that circle, identifies an audience, a group of people who have a problem or a desire. And secondly, we've identified an offer, okay, something that's going to solve the problem or fulfill the desire. Well, one way that we can, oops,
he just let something out.
One way that we can do this, just a little bit of tech issues here. Okay, one way that we can do this is we could, okay, sorry, this button's not working. Give me a moment. All right. So obviously, you know, the next question that you guys are likely to ask is, all right, how do we find an audience? Okay, let me just show you. Okay, here's a slide. This is from Google Keyword Planner, which, by the way, if you have a Google account, you have this tool for free. There at the top, I typed in weight loss. What is it? What this does is it shows me how many people every month are typing in a related search phrase, right? So right here, it tells me about 1 million and 10 million people a month are looking for something related to weight loss. Down here, it starts to break it down a little bit more clearly. It says how to lose weight, 100,000 to 1 million monthly searches. How to lose weight fast, 100,000 to 1 million monthly searches. And on and on and on the list goes. In other words, millions of people a month, just using this simple tool, we know millions of people a month are looking for something related to weight loss. Okay? And we could type anything in there. We could type in, sleep, right? Like people who are looking for better sleep at night, or how to improve their jump shot in basketball. There's all sorts of stuff. I mean, get creative. Okay? Now, here's another example of an audience. This is taken directly from the Facebook Ads Manager, which, by the way, if you have a Facebook account, you by default have a Facebook Ads Manager. You probably just don't know it. Here's an audience that I found in there. You can see it right here on the, actually, let me just, I'll zoom it in for you. Here, we've identified an audience in Australia, Canada, United Kingdom, New Zealand, United States, which, by the way, take a note of that. That is your 5 top countries, your 5 top English-speaking countries. So in the world of freelance digital marketing, we call this Tier 1. Tier 1 traffic. If you don't know what traffic is, don't worry about it. I'll talk to you about that in just a moment. Now we've identified, women, females between the ages of 21 and 35 who speak English, who are interested in all these things related to weight loss. And look, it tells us right down there at the bottom, potential reach, 39 million people. We know that there's 39 million people who fit all of this criteria. And there's literally 100 times more than that who we could continue to, search for, right? This doesn't include women who are over 35 or men who want to lose weight. And let it sink in, the amount of possibilities here. Now, that tells us there's an audience. Now, where do we go to find an offer? Well, here's a slide from a website called ClickBank. There's lots of websites like this. There's Max Bounty, New Cash Network. These are called affiliate networks. Just go to Google and type in affiliate network, and you'll find lists of affiliate networks where you can find an offer to promote, okay? Which is essentially a place that companies who have a product or service that they want to sell, they list it on these websites so that freelance digital marketers like ourselves can find it, and then we get paid a commission to help them sell it, right? Right here on that page, you can see health and fitness. So say I wanted to run an ad to that audience we just talked about. This is where I would go and find a product that would help solve a problem for that audience. So again, how do we do it? Well, we identify an audience, we identify an offer. Now, one way that we could do this is just to put that offer directly in front of that audience. Let me give you an example of what that means. Very recently, I was on Facebook scrolling through my news feed, saw this video on there about this incredibly awesome office chair, which I know to some of you that's going to sound boring as hell. But for me, I have a whole office. I was like, oh my God, this chair is off the hook, right? So I'm watching this short video, and it fully reclines. You can mount several monitors to it. I mean, it's just total badass technology, okay? And I'm watching a 2-minute little hype video about it, and I was like, oh, I totally want this thing. So then the only option that I had was to click to that company's website. And then all they had there was some information about the company, some information about the chair, and I could pre-order the chair. Now, the chair was $4,000. I don't get me wrong, I'm probably going to end up buying it, but that's besides the point. The point is that I'm looking at this thing and I'm like, well, the only thing that I can do here is order it. I'm not going to make that decision right now. That's not why I logged into Facebook. So, of course, I didn't buy it right there on the spot. And that's the inherent problem with putting an offer directly in front of an audience, because most people do not buy right now. Instead, they want a little bit more information before they make that buying decision right now. So, here's what we do. Okay? We identify an audience. We identify an offer. Then what we do is we reverse engineer from that offer. We create what's called a squeeze page, and we put that between the audience and the offer. Okay? Now, what's a squeeze page? A squeeze page is a very, very simple website, all right, where we make a big, bold, audacious claim in a headline, and then we ask the visitor to that website